Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids. My name is Amit and this is the TVS Star City Plus. Now when you look at the entry level commuter segment in India, which is dominated by 110cc motorcycles, there are two subsets. One is the very basic, the most economical set of two-wheelers, which is represented by the likes of, say, the Platina or the Hero Splendor, and TVS also has an offering in that segment in the name of the Radeon, which is fantastic, great fuel efficient motorcycle. And then you can move a step up where you get a few more features, better styling, motorcycles which look slightly more substantial. They have a bikini fairing, and this is a segment which is populated by motorcycles like this one, the Hero Passion Pro and the Honda Levo. Now this motorcycle here is the BS6 version, of course, and there are a few changes, and the most significant of these is of course this headlight, which is an all LED unit and is a highlight for the segment. Now the low beam is at the top and at the bottom you have the high beam, and while we are quite apprehensive generally about LED lights, the headlight on this motorcycle is sufficient for the class, and its throw as well as its spread is par for course. There is no complaint whatsoever. Not just that, it also gets this rather tallish fly screen and this surround, which makes it look rather nice and adds a lot of value. Another important thing that needs to be mentioned about this motorcycle is the inclusion of this 240 mm pedal disc up front, and pedal discs for this segment is not something that you'll find very often, so that again is something that the TVS Star City boasts. Now when you look at it from the side, of course it has received some new color combinations and it does look rather nice. Like all TVS motorcycles, the paint quality, the fit and finish and the stickering, everything is top notch. It's absolutely the best in the segment, so there is nothing to fault there. This motorcycle looks very well proportioned. It's probably not as sporty looking as the Passion Pro, but it looks more balanced, more proportionate, and in a traditional sense it fits into the template of this segment very well. A few other things that you would do well to notice include this chrome shield for the exhaust, these rather nice looking 5-spoke alloy wheels, this seat which is very comfortable. In fact, it's the most comfortable seat in the segment, which by the way is also two-tone, so adds a dash of premiumness. These contrasting red colored shock absorbers which are 5-step adjustable, and another advantage that this motorcycle has over the Passion Pro is the fact that this comes with a box section swing arm. So those are some of the highlights of this motorcycle. The front headlight is LED, but the blinkers and the tail light is not. So only the headlight is an LED unit, but at the rear you get a rather simplistic looking tail lamp and blinkers. Now this motorcycle, which in my personal opinion is a looker, comes in 6 colors, and out of these 6 colors, 2 colors are available for the disc variant and 6 colors, all of the colors are available for the drum variant. Let's have a quick look at the handlebar area of this motorcycle as well. The rear view mirrors are very generously wide and you can get a very good picture of what's coming from behind. Not just are these mirrors very functional, they are quite well styled too, with grey and black two-tone treatment. The switch gear in typical TVS quality is very well made. You get this one-touch start, and now since the motorcycle is fired up, you do well to have a listen to the exhaust as well. Nothing too fancy here, but among the motorcycles that you have in this segment, it sounds rather nice. Then you have this horn, turn indicators with push to cancel, high beam and low beam, and of course a pass button here. No hazards here in this segment, obviously. If you really compare it with the Hero Passion Pro, there you have the i3S button also, which by the way is a technology which lets you start the motorcycle just by pressing the clutch and twisting the throttle. That feature is not available here. Now you have this rather simplistic semi-digital instrument console where you have this analog speedometer marked till 140 km/h, with economy and power modes, which are actuated by the throttle. And you have a digital fuel gauge along with the digital odometer. And on the left hand side, you have a service indicator, neutral indicator, high beam, low beam, and turn indicators. You also have an engine malfunction light coming on in here. So that's a rather simplistic instrument console. You don't get a tachometer like all other motorcycles in this segment. Then you get this special feature, which is the provision for this USB charger socket here. I really wish that it was easier to bring out and put this lid back on again. Now, apart from all of those things, this motorcycle comes with the main stand, a side stand. There is also a kick. The ground clearance here is 172 mm, which is par for the course. In fact, it's one of the better ground clearances in the segment. The Hero Passion Pro has slightly better ground clearance, but even this motorcycle, even with a pillion on board, does not scrape its belly, even on some of the more vicious speed breakers. And the fuel lid looks something like this, and it's got a 10-liter fuel tank. It's a hinged unit, so the whole thing doesn't come out. Bringing it off the main stand, you'd realize that the grab rails are very, very usable, and at about 785 mm of saddle height, this is suited for even the riders who are short in height. So even the ones amongst you who are 5'4" or 5'5" will not have any problem. My height being about 5'10", I can very, very easily put my heels to the ground with a bend in my knees, so no problem whatsoever. And the riding position by itself is very comfortable, very commuterish, a very typical commuterish kind of a riding position. Slightly forward set foot pegs and a slightly raised handlebar. Now this comes with a heel and toe shifter, so you can use it to office without any problem, and it won't spoil your shoes since you can use your heel and toe for both upshifts and downshifts, and you don't necessarily have to put your leg underneath the gear shifter to shift the gears. And it is actually a commuter motorcycle. This very nicely padded seat really helps, and the suspension here also, although it's 5-step adjustable, is tuned on the softer side. Very comfortable suspension. And if you compare it with the other motorcycles in this segment, the distinct advantage that this motorcycle has is that the suspension offers superior comfort. And if you're going to be riding it for long distances or bad surfaces, I can very clearly say that this has to be one of the most comfortable motorcycles, both because it's got a very beautifully set up seat and a very nicely set up suspension and a very good riding position. What I also like about the seating position are these beautifully crafted tank recesses where the knee just fits in very snugly. And I also quite appreciate this 3D TVS logo on the tank, as well as this 3D Star City Plus logo on the side panel. Now, talking specifically about the seat, you would also see that the seat is sufficiently long, so there is no problem whatsoever for two-up riding. And for the pillion rider also, swinging a leg is not a problem because this seat is not too high up as compared to the front seat. So very thoughtfully set up suspension, very thoughtfully set up seat. And TVS, while they have the capability of putting out the best numbers in their respective segments, as demonstrated by the Apache RTR 200 or the TVS Apache RTR 164V, for this motorcycle, what they have focused really on is the comfort and the practicality aspect of it, and not on giving too many fancy features. And this motorcycle really excels in those areas. Now, having started our discussion about the performance, let's start talking about those numbers. And at the heart of this motorcycle is a 109.7 cc single cylinder air cooled engine, which produces 8.19 PS of peak power at 7,350 RPM. The compression ratio here is 10:1, which is higher than the other motorcycles in this segment. If you compare that power with other motorcycles, that power is also slightly less. The Hero Passion Pro has slightly more power. Even the Levo has slightly more power. And the torque here is 8.7 Newton meters at 4,500 RPM. Now, both the power and the torque are produced at a relatively low RPM, which underlines the relatively relaxed nature of this motorcycle. And since the peak power and peak torque are produced at a relatively lower level, especially the peak torque, if you compare with the Hero Passion Pro, the peak torque is produced about 500 RPM lower, and you can feel all that torque coming into the picture when you're riding the motorcycle. Even with two up, within the city streets. So there is a lot of torque available from the bottom of the rev range, which really helps this motorcycle in trundling along even in higher gears at low speeds. And you can actually ride this motorcycle in 4th gear even at 25 kilometers per hour, although it would sputter a little bit at that speed, but it will carry on from such low speeds even in the 4th gear. 30 kilometers per hour onwards, you won't have any problem whatsoever. Performance per se is not the highlight of this motorcycle. What it really excels at is its low speed tractability, low end torque, and very good fuel efficiency. Now I'll come to the fuel efficiency aspect in a bit, but let's talk about a few other numbers. If you compare the top speeds in this segment, there are motorcycles which do about 94, 95, 96 kilometers per hour of true top speed. This motorcycle does 90 kilometers per hour of top speed, and on the speedo that would reflect as about 97, 98 kilometers per hour of top speed. In terms of gearing, since this motorcycle has only 4 gears, the first 2 gears are rather short, and in the first gear this motorcycle reaches 25 kilometers per hour. In the second gear it reaches about 35 kilometers per hour. So the first 2 gears are very short and very closely spaced out, and then in the third gear this motorcycle reaches 62 kilometers per hour, and in the 4th gear it will take you to a speedo indicated 98 kilometers per hour of top speed. If you compare that gearing to something like, say, the Hero Passion Pro, the gearing here is more spaced out. You have the first gear extending up to 33 kilometers per hour, then the second gear going to 59 kilometers per hour, third gear going to about 84 kilometers per hour. But on this motorcycle, the first 3 gears are shorter, although the third gear is more extended. So even in the third gear, you can actually deal with the city traffic a little bit better. However, having said that, the one thing that this motorcycle should probably have had, and it doesn't, is the GTT or glide through traffic technology, which is available on some other more expensive motorcycles from the TVS stable, and it would really have benefited this motorcycle. I really believe that TVS should introduce the GTT technology on this bike. It is available on other motorcycles in the TVS stable. Also, the Hero Passion Pro comes with Hero's version of GTT, which they call Auto Sail, which allows the engine to keep going on even at low speeds in higher gears and doesn't really stall very easily. Now, coming to the all-important aspect of fuel efficiency, and the fuel efficiency on this motorcycle is really commendable. You will get anywhere from 65 to 80 kmpl depending on how you are riding, and the minimum fuel efficiency if you are riding sensibly on this motorcycle is 65 kilometers to the liter. So in terms of fuel efficiency, this really is a fantastic motorcycle, and if you are riding on a highway with a light right hand, you can get up to 80 kilometers to the liter. Now that fuel efficiency has increased after TVS introduced the BS6 version, where the fuel efficiency number increased by as much as 15%. Eco Thrust FI was introduced on this motorcycle. The durability of the parts, the smoothness, the refinement, everything has improved. And talking specifically about refinement, this is a very refined, very torquey motor. Only near the top of the rev range, where this motorcycle isn't meant to be ridden really, does this motorcycle send a very mild sensation of vibrations on the handlebars and on the seat. Apart from that, for a large part, about 80–90% of the rev range is completely vibe free. So very smooth, very torquey, very rev happy kind of an engine. No complaints there. A very usable motorcycle, not the most powerful or the most torquey or the most performance oriented or sporty motorcycle in the segment. However, it's very usable on a daily basis, and what really stands out about this motorcycle is its comfort and the way it really keeps you completely isolated from the bad roads and the bad surfaces that you are riding on. So if you're really looking for a very comfortable motorcycle, you should definitely look at the TVS Star City Plus. So that is one, and apart from a few missing features, which in my opinion include GTT and a stop-start system like the Hero Passion Pro, I really think that this is a fantastic package. It covers up for those missing features by offering an LED light which is not available on the competition, and also a pedal disc which is not available on the competition. In my personal opinion, it looks very nice too, and the quality of the switchgear and the paint is also superior to the other motorcycles in the segment. In terms of handling and dynamics, this is not the kind of motorcycle that you should be riding very hard. The tires are meant for fuel efficiency. As you can see, at the rear you have a 317 unit, and up front you have a 2.75 17 unit. Both are TVS tires, and while they are decent enough for everyday use, These are not the kind of tires that you should be hooning the motorcycle on. If you're going around corners, you have to be careful and don't try to lean the motorcycle too hard. This motorcycle is not meant for those kind of purposes, and you should not use these motorcycles for a very sporty riding. So that finally brings us to the all important question of the pricing. And that is one area where again the TVS Star City Plus really outshines the competition. And among the three available options of the TVS Star City Plus, which is this bike, the Hero Passion Pro and the Honda Levo, this motorcycle will cost you the least amount of money. And if you really talk about the prices, for the drum variant, this one costs 68,500 rupees ex-showroom, and for the disc, this costs 71,000 rupees. In comparison, the Hero Passion Pro will cost you 1,000 rupees more for the drum variant and 1,000 rupees more for the disc variant. However, if you compare the Levo is quite expensive, and for the drum variant, Levo will cost you about 2,500 rupees extra for the drum variant, and for the disc variant, you will have to shell out about 3,000 rupees extra, and the Levo is available for 74,000 rupees ex-showroom. The TVS Star City Plus comes with a 5-year warranty, which is par for the course and should give you a lot of peace of mind. Now, if the price of the motorcycle is of the utmost importance to you, you have other options also. And within the TVS stable itself, you have the Radeon, then you have the Bajaj Platina, as I mentioned before, and you also have the Hero Splendor. So those motorcycles are available at a low cost. But if you want your motorcycle to look good also, while also giving you the maximum bang for your buck, not just in terms of the money you spend on the motorcycle, but also the money that you spend on the fuel, then these motorcycles look nice and will take you a very long distance for every liter of fuel that you put in their tanks. In my personal opinion, the Star City is one of the strongest contenders in this segment. It's a hassle-free bike. It has proved its mettle over the years, and it's a very refined, very usable, very torquey motorcycle, very refined and very comfortable. If comfort more than anything else is what you're looking for, if you are going to be using this motorcycle for your city commutes and you would be riding over bad roads, if you have any issues with your back, I really believe that the TVS Star City Plus is a fantastic choice within the segment. In terms of features, maybe the Passion Pro has a couple more features, but as an overall package, the Star City Plus 2 is a very competent motorcycle. I really hope that this review was of some use to you. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to Motoroids, hit that like button, hit the bell notification icon. Always use Motoroids in your searches while looking for our kind of long format detailed videos. And if you like this video, do share it with your friends and families. Do let your friends know about us, about the kind of effort that we put in our reviews. And until next time, this is your friend Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and drive safe.